Hi everybody, this is the website boy from the websiteboy.com, and today we're going to be talking about a different control structure, the main type of control structure called loops. Let's first start with the while loops, and then I will explain the rest of the loops later on. If we have more time, I will do it in this tutorial. If not, I'll put it in another tutorial all right, to explain. So let's go ahead and let me just delete all this, and let's right. So now, what is a loop? What is the while loop? All right, first of all, let me explain to you what a loop is. A loop is a control structure. Basically is a function, or we call it a statement, right? A loop, because it loops around multiple times doing one specific or many different actions. So we write the code to do multiple actions. Right now, imagine that you write a program and you tell the program, I want you to check this field 20 times. And the reason why I want you to check it 20 times is because the user is going to provide 20 different values, and every time he provides a value, I want you to check it. Now, if you want to write some type of program like that, you need a loop, because if not, you're going to be writing, copy and pasting the same code over and over again all over the place, and it's going to be a mess. So the loops are going to help us repeat the code uh, repeatedly, automatically. All right, without copying and pasting the same code over and over again. And it's gonna do so in a based on a condition, just like the if statement that we were using before. All right, so let me just give you the syntax of the while loop right now. The while loop, you just write the word while. All right, and then after the while, you put the parentheses, because this is where we got that's what we're gonna use to put our condition in there, just like the if statement. And then we're gonna open and close a curly bracket, and in between here, when this condition becomes while this condition is true, we want to execute the code here. So now remember that this is a loop, so it's going to keep going around executing the same code over and over again. All right, so while this condition is true, we're going to be executing so let's say while 5 is true, and this is just a pseudocode, meaning it's just not real code, something similar, but it's not. While 5 is true, we want to print 5, for example. So it's going to go around, it's going to keep repeating 5, 5, 5, 5, unlimited. All right? Unlimited, and infinitely. What we want to do is we want to put a stop to this, because this is always going to be 5. So we need to actually put a condition here so it gets to a different number and then stops. When this condition evaluates to false, the loop stop. So what we need to do is put something here to either increment this value or change this value of 5. So this is not going to always be 5. And when it's false, then the loop stops. So I'm going to actually make a little sample here and show you how it works. All right. So let's go ahead and put a type here for an integer called x, right? And then this x, we are going to assign it a value of 1. All right, or we can assign it a value of 0 if we want to. All right, but I'm just going to assign it a value of 1. That's fine. And then we're going to say while x, which we have right here, all right, is smaller or equal to 10, right, we want to do something. So what are we going to do? We're going to do a printf function, and we are going to close it with a semicolon. Remember, always remember that. This is one statement here. We just close it with a semicolon. Always. When you are testing conditions, you don't need to close it with a semicolon here. So don't make that mistake. So let's go ahead and put a placeholder here, percent, and we have an integer here. So we need to put a percent and d. And why did they put, not used a int or something descriptive with an integer? They just use a d. I don't understand, so don't ask me. I don't know anything. So let's put a new line by escaping the n here. and then we're gonna use a comma to separate the formatting string, which is this. That's what it's called on this on the printf function, and we want to print the ets. All right. So we want to print these numbers. Now remember here that it's gonna keep going around. So right now we leave it the way it is. Ets is always gonna be smaller than 10. It is, right? Because it's 1. And basically 1 is always smaller than 10, and so it's going to keep going around, and it's going to keep printing x, which is 1. So it's going to keep printing 1 and 1 and 1 unless we tell the while loop to what? Can you guess? Increase the value of x. And how do we do that? We do that by telling C to actually increase the value by, we can use a shorthand version of the code, which is plus plus. All right. And this is the same thing as writing x plus 1. As you can see here, we don't need doing that. We need to put a plus. As you see, what I'm doing here is on x, I'm adding 1 to it, and it's gonna add 1 to it every time it goes around. So remember, while x is equal to 10, it's gonna go around. So x, the first time x, it is smaller than 10. Actually, not equal to 10, less than or equal to 10. So the first time x is 1, so it's going to go around because it's true. And then the second time, when it prints x on the screen, so it's going to print 1. Then here we are incrementing it. So now it gets incremented, but it's not printing it because we already passed this function. So it gets incremented. When it comes around again, boom, it's going to print x. And now x is worth 2 because every time it goes around, it's going to add 1 to it. Right? So then it goes around again, and now x is 3. And then it goes around again, 4, 5, 6, 7, until it gets to 10. When it gets to 10, right, it says, oh, it's already, it's equal to, it's less than? No, but it's equal to 10. So I'm going to stop here, and that's it. That's what it's going to do. It's going to stop once it reaches a conclusion, which is false. So it's going to keep going while it's true, and it's going to stop when it's false. So let's try this on the screen. But I'm going to use a shorthand version of this code right here, which is a lot easier than using all this code, which is plus plus. And semicolon. Remember, statements, you close them. All right, so let's go ahead and try this out. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes, and we are good to go. And let's just save it, Command S or Control S, and then build it and run it. And as I thought, we have a mistake somewhere, and this mistake is on line 27 and 30. What is it that, oh Jesus, I have a whole bunch of, what is this? Oops, this is probably from the last code, 27. What is all this? There we go. I think we're good to go now. That was from the last code, I forgot. Let's just go ahead and build it and run it again. And as you can see here, what it did was it went around the first time, it printed 1. Don't mind these bots here because this is something else from the last from the last tutorial. So it printed 1 the first time, then it printed it went around the second time, it printed 2, 3, 4 until it reached 10, and then it stopped because evaluated to false. So hopefully you were able to see the power of the while loop or any loop. They just have different syntax, and I will explain to you how those syntax, I will show you those syntax in the next tutorial. Since this tutorial already went over the limit, I will explain to you the next loops on the next tutorial. But anyway, I hope you see the power of writing a loop. All right, we have many different, we can evaluate a condition and repeat code multiple times. We can check values, we can repeat, we can make, let's say for example, we can make programs that will repeat themselves when certain conditions are true or false. All right, so anyways, thank you so much. If you were able to get some type of value out of this tutorial, favorite the video, like it, and so that way it gives me a lot of motivation to keep making more. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.